Hi, I'm Roberta. Welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to talk about something fundamental to Italian cooking, how to cook pasta. And for this conversation I'm talking about the dried pasta, which is really typical of southern Italy. In the north it's more likely to be fresh pasta with egg, and that's a different conversation. So, a few things to know. First of all, there's a ratio of pasta to water to salt. And it's really easy to remember. For every 100 grams of pasta, you want a litre of water and 10 grams of salt. So measure, or at least until you get used to doing it by eye, measure. So I'm going to cook half a packet of pasta, 250 grams. So I want 2.5 litres of water and 25 grams of salt. Now to keep it easy, if you're using coarse cooking salt, a tablespoon is 20 grams. If you're using salt flakes, a tablespoon is 10 grams. So weigh it. In with that, and we're going to put that on to boil in just a second. Now, while our water's on to boil, let's talk about cooking time. The people who make pasta do a lot of research on the cooking time. So following the packet instructions, which are always on the front, is a good rule of thumb. The penne, for example, says 8 minutes. This little risoni says 10 minutes, and this bronze extruded spaghetti says 11 minutes. Use that as a guide, but I'm going to suggest that you actually undercook it slightly, and you'll see why when we get to the stove, because we want to finish cooking it in the sauce. So our water's boiling, let's get our pasta on. Now the next most important thing is that when we say boiling water, we mean a good rolling boil like that. In goes the pasta. If it's a long one, spread it out so that it can dissolve or soften quickly enough to get back into the water. And let's get it back up to the boil. It's worth popping the lid back on just for 30 seconds or so to get that heat build up, and then we'll give it a stir. So once it's all soft enough to be in the water, give it a good stir around, and now just let it do its thing. Remember, you're timing it, and you're going to check it about 2 minutes before the packet says it should be ready. So that's been a couple of minutes less than the packet cooking time. Let's test it. You can bite it, but for the purposes of the camera, I'm just going to break it, and yes, it breaks easily, but it's still a little chalky in the center. And that's what we want. Now, as soon as we know that pasta's ready, we need to get it out of the water. If it's a short pasta like a penne, we're going to drain it and save the cooking water. But if it's a long pasta, it's even easier. It can come out of the pan of water straight into the pan of sauce, because we want that cooking water to form part of our sauce. So we've already got some water clinging to the pasta. We take it across. Now, whether it's a simple sauce like this aglio, olio e peperoncino, just garlic, chili and a touch of parsley, or whether it's a more complex sauce, we always want to add some of that cooking water into the sauce. And the reason we undercooked the pasta slightly is we want it to finish cooking in the heat of that sauce. So I've turned that heat up. We've got a good sizzle happening there, and we're just going to keep stirring it around, adding a little more water at a time. And what's happening is that oil and the starch in the pasta cooking water are emulsifying to form a beautiful creamy sauce. And so we have it. As I said, whether it's a super simple oil, chili, garlic sauce, whether it's something more complex, that pasta cooking water is what my Italian chef friends call the secret sauce. Emulsified with the oil, it gives the pasta a lovely sheen, it helps the sauce cling to the pasta, and it makes it taste delicious. Now you've cooked the perfect pasta, there's just a couple of things you need to know about how to eat pasta. Firstly, and most importantly, it doesn't wait for anyone. Get it out of the pan, onto the plate and into your tummy while it's fresh. Secondly, you never cut pasta, and you don't eat it with a knife and fork. You eat it with a fork, just twirled around the fork like that, or if you're not comfortable doing that, you can use a spoon to give it a good twirl. That's it. You can now cook pasta like a nonna and eat pasta like an Italian. Buon appetito!